setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
Welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful South Carolina morning. It's a beautiful day. Sun is out, blue sky, slight clouds rolling in the sky. It's a beautiful day. Hey, our conversation today is going to be about your career and about your resume. So get ready. I'll be right back.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
So over the past few weeks, I've been getting a lot of coaching assignments, which I love, about people who are concerned about their career. And the way the ages range from all over the place. From 26 all the way up to 64. Can you believe it? And the main concern is how to get back on track. And one of them that is very important for everyone to understand, that the resume that you present is the story of your life, but you have to do it in condensed form. It's hard to get 64 years out of your life or even 26 years out of your life into a single sheet. And I say single sheet only because I tell you, I used to have a staffing firm, and people would submit their resumes to me, and honestly, I thought they were a book. Do you think I went through and read that book? No, I didn't. In fact, I put it to the side and said, I'll look at it later. And sometimes I didn't even get to it because it was just too long. When you have to read a 4-page resume about every single aspect of your life, you just don't want to, as an employer, you just don't want to go through it. So I like to see 1-page stories on individuals. These types of resumes are a lot easier to get through the system. I tell you, at one point in time, I was doing recruiting, and I went to a foreign country. I went to the Philippines to recruit nurses and physical therapists and med techs. What else were we doing? We were doing several different fields that we had assignments. I had a contract with 56 facilities throughout California, and I had to fill assignments very quickly. So I linked up with a headhunting firm over in the Philippines, and I went to my office in Makati, which is the main financial hub of the Philippines. And they started to bring over busloads of people. I mean, busloads. Now, the problem with the Philippines is that when they present their resume, they have the picture on the resume, and they've got 4 pages behind it. So I had to become very quick to go through these resumes and pick out the things that I was looking for, especially in the experience level, because there are so many individuals over there that have really bachelor's degrees and master's degree, but they have no job. They may be a physical therapist, but they're working as a physical fitness instructor at a club. So they have no real physical therapy experience. In fact, a lot of people over there had to pay a medical facility to get that experience. That's how bad it is over there. You're talking about a country who has so many healthcare professionals but no experience. And so they work in call centers, they work in all sorts of different fields except for what they got their degree in. Hoping to go to America, or hoping to go to Dubai or another country to get work, because there's no work. At that time when I was recruiting, the average monthly salary for a Philippine nurse was $300 if they could get a job. That's how bad it was. But I think I digressed. So I got tons and tons. They started bringing buses and loads of buses of medical staff. And they filled up the whole portion of my building with people waiting to come in to see me. And I did over 300 people per week, and I was there for 4 weeks. So think how fast I had to get these interviews done. I limited to 5-minute interviews. And I took their resume and I reviewed it with them right there, and I highlighted whatever I needed to see. But 4 pages is just too long. 4 pages of really nothing, because the experience level just was not there. And that is the biggest problem. So if you have a 1-page resume for employers to look at, that's what we want to see. And what do we want to see in that? Well, for one thing, we want to see functional descriptions. So we want you to design your descriptions to focus on your achievements. Use like action verbs like planned or assembled or coordinated to indicate the skills that you have used. Have used, that's the key thing. What you have done. What is your story of what you have done? And you will show off your accomplishments in concise and understandable words and ways. Other action verbs include the words such as increased, attained, chaired, developed, adapted, solved, persuaded, directed, coached, managed, executed. Those are action words that we want to see. And we want it to be a good length. Even if you're the most successful person in the world, it isn't good, it isn't smart, it isn't wise to list everything you have ever done on your resume. Keep it to your last 3. That's what I always tell my people. I want to see your last 3. If your experience is intensive and it's extensive, 2 pages can be acceptable. However, I want to see 1 page. 1 page, and you can do it on 1 page. That is the most important thing, because I tell you, I do not want to have to go through page after page after page. If it goes over 2, it had better be good stuff. 1 page is all I want to see. So, and as a matter of fact, once you're in the room with to do the interview, the resume doesn't matter much. So cut back. Just cut back on your resume if it's too long. I only want to see 1 page. That's all I want to see. And put it in the proper format. Although the Stanford experts say that there is no single way to format your resume. The format you choose should ultimately present your strengths clearly. I want to see your strengths. That's what I want to see. One format most familiar to employers, and commonly used by job candidates is the chronological format, which presents your experience in reverse chronological sequence. Beginning with the most recent to the oldest. The format is used for those who have a history of directly relevant experience. If you think we're looking at your degrees, we might glance at it, but what we want is your experience, because we want to know what value in your experience is a value. What value you're going to bring into our organizations. That's what we want to see. And I don't want to see long stories of how great you are. I just don't want to see it. And then you need to list your quantified results. Make sure your descriptions include qualifying results such as, such as created a marketing campaign that drove sales up by 33%. The more specific, the better this gives hiring recruiters and employers a better picture of what you're capable of, rather than a mere vague idea of what you think it should be. Okay? Peer review. We always look at peer review. You may have crafted a wonderful resume, but why not get another pair of eyes on it? Okay? Take your resume to a peer, somebody that you can trust, a professional, a mentor, and go to your most trusted people or colleagues and ask that they look over your resume for content and grammar. I tell you, I'm really bad at grammar. I'm always having to look at my grammar. Putting apps on my cell phone or on my computer so that I'm catching every single phrase and every single word that I'm so bad at misspelling. I'll be the first one to admit it. But have somebody review it. That's really, really important. Because you don't want to give a resume that is filled with grammatic and also words that are misspelled. It's really discouraging. Especially if you're an accountant and you see all of these errors. What kind of errors are you going to make in your accounting work? If you're a nurse and you have to do charting, what kind of word errors are you going to make in that patient's files? So we look at that very carefully because we want to know if you are really reviewing your work. That's the most important thing. I've had so many people come to me reviewing their resumes in the past few weeks. And I love that. I really do enjoy helping people go through their resumes because I have seen so many. Listen, I've been doing this since 1984. I have seen a ton of resumes. And I have seen some really bad resumes. Resumes that tell a story that you don't even want to listen to. Now, the resume has to be concise. Because when we are interviewing you, we're going to ask you questions about what you have done, and it had better match up to what you've said on your resume. Because if you're not truthful, and if you can't remember what you've told your story on your resume, there's a problem. That means it's pretty much made up. Know your story. Every one of us have a story, and we have to know how to tell that story. And you don't need to listen. I had an individual come in to my office, and I was interviewing him for the front desk position because we had over 3,500 tax clients coming in during the tax season, and we had to have somebody at the front desk that was really sharp. And this guy had been an IT guy, and he needed work, and he spoke very well. The problem is that he was always second-guessing every conversation. He was even second-guessing whether or not he should take the job after one. Well, how many? It was not even one day. Not even after one day, he got up and said, Sir Michael, because they all called me sir. I don't know. He says, this isn't the job for me because I just don't think I know what I'm doing. I said, but you've been doing it all day. You've been doing your job all day. Why are you second-guessing yourself? I have not heard one single complaint from any of our clients regarding the front desk person, and you've been doing it very well. No, Sir Michael. Have some confidence in what you're telling people. Have some confidence in your job skills. And show your employer that you are working on getting better knowledge every single day. Because we want to know that you are trying to improve your skill set every single day. I've had one nurse that came to me, and I was his first job. And we put him out on the floor. And pretty soon he became a supervisor. And now it's been almost 20 years. He no longer works for me, but it's been 20 years. He's still in the same spot, in the same job, doing the same thing, not improving his skill set at all, not going to any continuing education class, not doing the job because he's so comfortable in what he's doing. He does not want to expand his life, nor does he want to show his current employer that he's expanding his knowledge. I tell you, that's very important to us who are looking at your resume and also talking to you, we want to know how you are making yourself better in your job. Remember, this is the most important thing. Don't look at your career as the ladder to your career, the ladder to your success. What is important is how you are improving yourself to do your job better and how you're going to add value to your employer's business. That's the most important thing of all. If you have any questions on your resume, or if you want to talk about career issues, send me a text at 818-252-5682 and we'll set up an appointment. And we will do some one-on-one and we can talk about your resume and I can review your resume. And I tell you, it's very important that you get a second pair of eyes that are looking at your story. I tell you, that story is so important. A business story is important. Your story as an employee is very important, and you need to know how to tell it. Learn how to tell your story through your resume in the most professional way that you can. This is Mike Lodge. I'll be with you again tomorrow. Everyone go out and have a really great day. Talk with you soon.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, totally focused on content.